Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the internet's busiest coaster nerd, California Coast Riders, and today I'm going to be giving my review of their all-new Avengers Campus ride called Webslingers: A Spider-Man Adventure. So let's get right into the video.
It's the Coaster Report. It's the Coaster Report.
So Webslingers: A Spider-Man Adventure opened with the Land Avengers Campus on June 4th, 2021, and I was lucky enough to be able to secure a boarding group, which, oh my god, was so hard, on June 15th, and I was able to ride it later on in the evening. Let me just say, just right off the bat, this did not meet expectations at all. So before I get into like the nitty-gritty details on the ride, what I thought about certain scenes, let me just say overall, this was the only ride to open with Avengers Campus. And having been to Avengers Campus and I went there on 3 separate occasions on 3 separate days, it is very oriented in live entertainment. Personally, my favorite thing, which I liked even better than the Spider-Man ride, which was Webslingers: The Spider-Man Adventure. A little weird of a name, but my personal favorite experience at Avengers Campus was actually the live show of Doctor Strange, his magic show. That was probably the coolest show at any park I've ever seen. So that is very interesting, and I also really liked Pym's Test Kitchen, which is their Ant-Man themed restaurant. And I also think that Mission Breakout is the superior ride in the land of Avengers Campus, and there was just a gaping hole where that Avengers ride is supposed to be and apparently is being canceled. I don't really know what's going on with the Avengers ride. The experience on this ride starts with a pretty uninspired outdoor queue for the ride, especially for a headlining attraction like this is supposed to be. This queue for the ride is not very interesting. There's just some like testing equipment for webs with some canisters. There's like posters of people who work at Web. And by the way, Web stands for Worldwide Engineering Brigade. They don't really make that clear on the ride. I just knew that because I've been following the story of this ride for a very long time since they've announced it. But I think a lot of people get confused by that. And they reference it a lot on the ride. They don't make that very clear at all. They could have made that clear in like the pre-show or the queue or something. I had to wait in line for this queue for about 45 minutes, even though there was a virtual queue. I still had to wait 45 minutes for this ride, which was kind of crazy in the hot summer sun in Southern California, which is not very forgiving. But they easily could have done an indoor queue, and indoor queues are typically better than outdoor queues, except for like Rise of Resistance, which I probably going to bring that up a lot in this video because I just recently wrote it. Review for Rise of Resistance is coming soon. Also in the queue are some schematics for the web slinger. If you don't read the signs, you really don't get most of this. But the web slinger is the ride vehicle that you use on the ride to shoot webs out of your hand without any gear on. And it also has the ride DLC blueprints, which I'm not even going to get into that. But that's stuff that you can buy so you have a different experience on the ride. It's ride DLC for all intents and purposes. But that is a topic for another video, which I probably won't make because I don't want to touch on that, because that's a whole nother can of worms. Anyways, after you get through the queue, you're going to enter a pre-show room with Spider-Man's office, I guess, or Peter Parker's office, technically, because he's still hiding his identity on this attraction. But I thought this was really funny. He runs out early on accident, and he runs back, and that's pretty funny. That's something that a lot of people miss. And in the pre-show for the ride, he describes his new invention, the Spider-Bot, and shows its ability to replicate itself by consuming other matter. And this replication process just continues, and he can't find a way to stop it. So he calls Spider-Man, which is actually him. He runs off screen. He runs back to Spider-Man and tells you that you need to use the web slingers, the ride vehicles, to help him stop the Spider-Bots from consuming the entire Avengers Campus. So that's basically the premise of the ride. And I gotta say, the pre-show kind of underwhelmed me. I thought there would be an animatronic. The concept art for this ride made it seem like there was going to be an animatronic in this room, so I was very underwhelmed when there wasn't. It was cool, though, as the Spider-Bots are replicating. In the vent in the top left corner of your screen right now, you can see Spider-Bots running by, which is very funny. And also, by the way, you can buy Spider-Bots. They're $70. You can buy them in the Web Suppliers gift shop, which is across the way from the Spider-Man Webslingers ride. And I was really wondering, like, who the heck would buy one of these spider bots that's like a clear marketing ploy that they used on the ride. So, like, who the heck would buy a spider bot, and what is so special about this spider bot that makes it $70? And that is really exactly why I purchased one myself. I'll unbox that spider bot in a later video. I dropped $70 on it. I can't wait to see what it does. But anyways, once you are called to action to help stop the spider bots from consuming Avengers Campus by replicating themselves over and over again, you're led down a hallway towards the web slinger ride vehicles, in which you're handed, sadly, 3D goggles. Now, this is just my opinion, but personally, I think that it's very lazy to use 3D on a ride. It's really gimmicky. It's something that was cool a few decades ago to use on a ride, but at this point, it's 2021, and 3D is not something that you travel across the country to experience. And when you have 3D goggles, that means the ride 10 times out of 10 is going to be just staring at a screen. And that's exactly what the actual ride is. So at first, you go through a few physical sets, but you don't stop at any of them. You just head right to the next screen. Then you go through a few physical sets and you go right to the next screen. And the footage you're seeing on your screen obviously doesn't have 3D goggles on it, so you can't really see how the ride visually looks. You gotta ride it to do that. But is it really worth riding? I don't know. That's up to you. I'm a huge MCU fan. I didn't really enjoy the ride. I love Spider-Man. I didn't really enjoy the ride that much. It's enjoyable, but it's not like groundbreaking or like, wow, this is such a fun ride. I want to do this all day. It's one and done. You have fun on your one ride, but it isn't like a lifetime of enjoyment like some rides at Disneyland. Most rides at Disneyland, actually, I would say. It's like Mission Breakout. On Mission Breakout, which, by the way, you actually do visit Mission Breakout on this ride. Through the ride. It's like Rideception. It's trippy. But anyways, Mission Breakout is a ride that I want to do over and over again. And ever since it opened in 2018, I think, I've wanted to ride it every single time I go, every day that I'm in this park. But this ride, I don't know. It doesn't really resonate with me at all. The gesture shooting with your hands, you get to shoot with your hands and they automatically read where your hands are. It's really weird. Cool technology, but it's really gimmicky, honestly. It's not something that is it's cool for 30 seconds basically. And in the ride you visit different scenes at Avengers Campus, like on the screen right now. You got Mission Breakout, you go to Pym's Test Kitchen, you go to the Quinjet Avengers area, you go to all these different places in Avengers Campus. I'm missing one. I don't remember. But all these different places in Avengers Campus. And you walk outside the ride and you can visit them in real life. Why do you gotta watch a screen of you shooting at these weird bots on a ride? It just doesn't really make sense at all. I don't get this ride in some ways. In some ways, yeah, I can see why people would like this. It's fun, it's cool gesturing, but it's never gonna resonate like a ride, like other rides in the park, like Soarin'. Soarin' is a ride that will resonate forever. That ride, incredible soundtrack, incredible visuals. It's a screen-based ride, but it doesn't make you wear goggles. It doesn't have any gimmicks to it. It's just a good ride. It almost feels like they tried too hard to make a banger ride and they completely failed. So, I don't know. It's thinking about the ride, the more I think about it. I didn't do this review right after I rode the ride on June 15th. Today is June 26th. And I'm still trying to feel my emotions on this ride. This is one of the hardest to pin down rides I've ever experienced. So overall, I'm going to give this ride a 9 out of 10. I really liked it. Very good ride. So overall, the ride is above average, and for me, on the scale of 1 to 10, I'd say a 5 is average, and this ride is definitely above average. It has a really cool mechanic with the shooting, with the arms, like all you do is this to shoot, like I said, and really, it is above average, so I can't give it a 5. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 6, a solid 6. I couldn't really like this ride like I do Mission Breakout, or like I do, this isn't a Rise of the Resistance. That's really, at the end of the day, and not every ride has to be Rise of the Resistance, but they really just didn't try with this ride, and it really shows. It's good, but is it a Disney ride? No. It's a Universal ride, or maybe even an upgraded Justice League Battle for Metropolis, a Six Flags ride. Transition. So that's my review for Webslingers, a Spider-Man adventure, new to Avengers Campus. Have you ridden Webslingers, a Spider-Man adventure? Do you have thoughts on it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Tell me if you agree with my review down in the comments, or tell me what you think of the ride if you haven't ridden it and this is your first time even hearing about the ride. I'd love to read your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.